Sucking on my own dick. Yeah, you know I'm sucking on my own dick. Sucking on my dick. Everybody's sucking their own dicks. Sucking on our own dicks. Everybody's sucking their own dicks. Sucking on our dicks. Yeah, you know I'm sucking on my dicks.
I mean, you know how it is. Every now and then, the people from the internet need to come to just like poke around and make things worse. And then leave, and then you're like, when you stop them, and you're like, "But I just ran a speed test and it's bad." They're like, "Well, I need to get to the other house to fuck theirs up."
Yeah.
So they,
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, what was he even? Did he show up unbidden? Like, does he?
that would be sick if they just like. It's the opposite of your landlord, where they need to give you like advance notice. Spectrum just like raps on your window.
Yeah.
At night, they just throw pebbles up.
Yeah.
They're like, we need to check your RAM. Something that doesn't even make sense.
He has a can of pesticide with him. You're like, what is that for? He just sprays it in your mouth.
I need. I've gotten a report of some ones and zeros escaping from your home. We need to keep those locked up.
Yeah, it appears you have a data leak.
Mm-hmm.
This is a classic data leak. It's floating up into the atmosphere. It's hurting the ozone. So
yeah. So you're going to jail unless you let me in.
Yeah, we have to come throttle your.
Yeah.
If you don't let me in there, I will plant child pornography in your IP address.
Mm-hmm.
I have the power to do that.
Look, either you're going to jail or I'm going to be in a room alone with your wife. You get to pick. And I won't even do anything. It's just about you letting me in there. Spectrum is a terrible company.
Yeah, is that who you're with? I think that I had AT&T in East LA. I don't know who we're with now.
I don't think we even get that here. It was like it was either Spectrum or it was called like People's LC, like some fucking, I don't know.
I don't like whenever too similar to Jim Jones for my taste. The People's Internet.
Yeah. Which you'd think would mean that it's free. Nope. No. It just means it costs $5 less a month for like 25% of the speed.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Spectrum gives you 25% of the speed. So really, there's no winning.
There's no winning at all. There's no good internet in Los Angeles. I have yet to be anywhere where my Wi-Fi connection is good in this city.
Oh, no, it's never good.
No.
Yeah, Bae has been coming over here to work during the day because her internet was so fucked. And I was over there when like the Spectrum guy, he showed up. He goes upstairs and he's like, the modem's bad. And she's like, well, the other guy came a week ago and he replaced it. He was like, it's the router.
The modem is bad?
Yeah. He just kept flipping around. And he's like, well, the modem's bad. She's like, but it's your modem. And you could see him like thinking, and he's like, oh, it must be the router then. Yeah. She's like, but it's a brand new router. And then he's just like, look, your computer's broken.
I'm sure he's like, I'm sorry, aren't you a girl? Why are you pretending to know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, and then like at the very end of it, he was like, actually, I'm going to go check some wires outside.
Oh my God.
There's no wires outside. He left.
That's awesome. I love that company policy across the board. I was really spiraling on this today.
Uh-huh.
How like policy across the board, whether it's, Nintendo.
Do not tell the truth.
It's lie. It's lie. Whether it's the CIA murdering a DEA agent, whether it's Nintendo refusing to acknowledge the Joy-Con drift until they finally get sued, it's the company policy is literally lie to people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, every time. And I was even looking at it because she was having problems there, and then she was having problems here, and I was like, well, that's weird that it's everywhere. So I look up. You can just go on. I just go on Twitter and I search like Spectrum LA.
Yep.
And it's just people screaming.
Yes, dude.
Just people losing their minds. Like, why won't you just tell us there's a citywide outage?
Yeah. What?
And people like 1 out of every 20 they like it and they're like, please DM us and we'll assist you further. And then I'm sure you DM them and your account gets banned somehow.
Well, dude, every fucking teacher who told me, like, Nick, you can't just avoid your problems by not turning in your homework and not coming to class. It's like, well, no, you can't. Those people go straight to the top. That seems to be how you succeed.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
just the Spectrum headquarters just turns all of its lights out when the internet goes down. They're just like, we're not home.
Yeah. I mean, anytime, as a former customer service person on the phone, anytime you're speaking to someone in a customer service situation and they put you on hold, it's because their boss is next to them, like, waving their hands.
Yeah.
And then you put them on hold, and then your boss tells you a new lie to say.
Right. Under no circumstances. And it's funny, I was having this spiral as while I was on the plane about this, how like policy is just do not ever let people know what's going on. As our plane,
I bet even on 9/11, they were like, excuse me,
yeah.
does that mean I have a box cutter? It's like, well, you actually need to keep your seatbelt fastened.
Yes,
and
please.
we might give you a Diet Coke.
Yeah,
another one.
Please stay orderly as we fly into the Twin Towers. Well, because I was having this spiral as we started to bumpily descend, and I was like, something's happening, and they're not telling me. These people have nerves of steel. It's their job to lie until the black box catches them burning up into ash.
That would be so funny if like you're flying into the towers. They're like, hey, no smoking. But it's 9/11.
Yeah.
You will be put on the no-fly list for smoking on 9/11.
Somebody in the ground, just like, we have reason to believe that the ignition point of the fire when the plane flew into the towers was because people were smoking on the flight. So we do want to say shame on them.
Was that an Obama voice?
No, that was just a fucking newscaster voice.
Okay, so like
no, actually, Brendan, you're right. It was Obama was there.
yeah, he really should have been taking better care of that.
Well, this just goes back to the Obama deception.
yeah, I know.
Have you ever noticed that Obama was there reporting on 9/11?
Yeah, I mean, have you ever noticed that it was actually Obama wearing a George Bush mask reading that book?
Yeah. Yeah. And do you know who was sitting in that class? Trayvon Martin. So what is going on? Wake up. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, what's that? Yes, we just got confirmation that the individuals smoking on the flight have gone straight to hell.
Yeah. Oh, fuck.
Oh, man.
But I feel like you'll appreciate this. I flew back from Chicago today from CM Bay, and I got the cheapest flight possible because we extended our trip by 3 days because we were like not ready to leave the woods yet. So I was like, fuck it, I'll extend the trip. And her car was in the shop, so we were just like,
so you had no choice.
Yeah, we had no choice.
The classic older shot. You are backed into a corner, and you're like, you know what? Actually, I've chosen this.
Well, we were debating it. It felt like a little sign because she was like, should we stay? And then we went out to get ice cream, and her car was making a horrible noise, and and I was like, I think we should stay. I was like,
that sounds nice.
Yeah, it was nice. So, I just grabbed the cheapest flight ever. I went on Priceline. I was like, give me a random flight for fucking like $60, 2 days notice, and they did. And it was with American Airlines. I don't know why I've been flying Spirit. American's amazing, but I had
They just shoot you out of a cannon.
Yeah. I had a nice 2-hour layover. Can I say the layover is very underrated?
Oh, I love a good layover.
The layover, because where else? It's such an excuse to eat fast food that is not native to your location. I'm like,
oh yeah,
it's great. Bojangles was there. I got some Bojangles. Brendan,
where was this layover?
This was in Charlotte, North Carolina. So there were all sorts of fixins that I was not accustomed to.
You ever? I had a layover at the Boston airport, and I'm eating like a fast food lobster sandwich.
Yes. You can get lobster at McDonald's in Maine and Boston.
Really?
Yeah, they do lobster rolls like year round.
Well, start the car.
So we're going.
Yeah.
But it was so, I was in the chat with Robbie just like waxing poetic about the beauty of the airport ever since, ironically enough, because of 9/11, ever since you weren't just allowed to go to the airport, it's kind of a fun place to be. Like where else can you get drunk eating fried chicken, watching CNN as children are running around? It's a very outside of the box situation.
Where else can you eat at Chili's at 7 a.m.?
At 7 a.m. it's open, and they're waiting for you.
They're excited to see you.
Yes. Yeah, man, the airport, the layover. I mean, I was really enjoying the layover. I began to have a fantasy about like
that Tom Hanks movie. Like that guy had it made.
Yeah, yes, yeah. Terminal. Well, I mean, I started to like. I was just like, I was in this hallway of fast food, and I was like, chicken from Bojangles, fries from McDonald's, a biscuit from Chick-fil-A, and in my head, I was like, I'm getting a team together. You know what I mean? I was like,
You got a big cigar.
yes, I die from heart disease before my plane takes off. Also, can you imagine me running hurriedly from fast food restaurant to fast food just with like bags of shit under my arm, like
Wearing like a bomber jacket.
yeah, out of my way.
You've stolen one of the little trams that they carry the luggage around on.
Yes, yeah. I'm kicking it like a skateboard. Yeah, dude, I had half a mind to miss my flight. Just stay in Charlotte eating. I was like Templeton the Rat. I really was.
Yeah, the best layover in my opinion is Vegas, because there's slot machines
Yes.
in the airport, and you can see Mandalay Bay
Yeah, dude.
right there.
Right.
You can take a selfie with it. I was trying to tell Bay, I was like, "Oh, we got to get what we got to do is we got to fly Burbank to Vegas to Philly."
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "Why?" I'm like, "Because last time I did that, I put a $5 bill in the slot machine and I won $80 on the second push." And she's like, "Okay, but that won't happen again." I'm like, "You're right. I'm going to win $1 million." And then we don't have to come back.
My only experience with slot machines has been it is a red button that deletes my bank account. All of my friends.
But that's also an ATM for you.
It is.
That's also like you hit the check my balance button. Oh, it appears that you had $1. Checking the balance costs $2, so you now have negative $30.
And honestly, one time it was true also when I went to the laundromat and forgot to put detergent in. I just lost money. No, when I was really hard up for money, like back in Maryland, I had this string of friends who were like, "Nick, I just won $300 doing this haunted house slots. We got to go to Horseshoe Casino and play the haunted house slots. I always win." Slot machines have never been my friend. I watched my friend win $300 and was like, well, surely now it will happen to me next to him.
Yeah. I always like to pick the most retarded slot machine available.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm. Like if it's got tits or like Big Bang Theory. Just something stupid. I think the last time I played slots, it was like the Dolly Parton slot machine.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And it played little like stabs of her songs every time you
lost money?
Yeah, every time I lost money. It was when you, me, and Tom were in Joshua Tree and I split off from the group to go gamble alone.
I don't even remember this.
It was on our way back.
Oh, yes, I do remember
yeah.
that. Yeah, because we went to fucking Dinosaur Land.
Yeah. Did I miss out?
No, I was so upset with Dinosaur. They claimed basically it's this religious. It's one of these like creationist or intelligent design museums, and it's supposed to be like learn about the dinosaurs. But it's not. It's a zoo of plastic creatures, and they have 3 facts that repeat themselves. One of which is, did you know that in the 1998 Roland Emmerich film Godzilla, they based Godzilla off of the Tyrannosaurus Rex? And I was like literally walking around the park. Like there are children. It's a horseshit park. It's minimum effort. And I was just walking around, like I guess too loudly next to the children going, this is bullshit. This was a waste of $15. I was
what a terrible fact.
It was oh my God, Brendan, they were so bad. None of them were facts.
I mean, you go to the Creation Museum, you at least want some amusing false facts.
Right. These people it was so minimum effort. And then the inside you can go into the T-Rex head, and I got in there, I was like, well, this thing hasn't even been fucking taken care of. As like, again, as a family is like trying to inch past me back down the stairs. And Brendan and Tom thought that I was, really, but I don't know. When I spend money, I like to see it go somewhere good, not a crock of shit off the side of the highway.
You see, I went. I got out $40 from a gas station. I went to the casino. I left my wallet in the car. I put my driver's license in my shoe, and I came in, and I put my $40 in the slot machine. And I said, "This is it." and I lost all of it. And then I said, I'm going to go back in the car, and I'm going to get my card, and I'm going to get some more money out of the ATM. And by the time I got back to the car to get my wallet, the spell had worn off. I got in my car, and I drove away.
It's really nice that you have a elaborate system for yourself, because you know your own mind.
I absolutely know my own mind.
That was incredible.
Nick, anything becomes drinking for me so fast.
The fact that you had to set up a mental Rube Goldberg machine just to have a thought.
I parked really far away too, because I wanted to give myself like a long walk to think about it.
It's like there are two people in your head, and one is actively trying to punish the other. I'm serious.
Yes, that is correct. Yes, sir. I wonder which one will win.
It's truly anyone's guess at this point. I mean, it's probably good that it's probably good that you have Bay as some kind of ref between the two of them to break it up occasionally when the fight gets too nasty, when things get out of hand. You need a guy to come in and get Tyson off Holyfield. Basically.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Bay is starting to come to terms with
that this is you?
Yeah, I don't know. I started to say that, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to talk about this.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay,
No, just, the little things. Like, we were at a thrift store, and I saw, like, a scale, and I was like, oh, an analog scale. I want this. And she's like, now, is this going to be something that helps you or makes you upset?
That's a good question to ask.
That is a good question.
It's a good question to ask.
Yeah, she's really looking out for me. And I'm like, I think it's going to help, I think.
Well, wait, why do you want an analog scale, Brendan?
Because I wanted a scale a while ago. So I was like, I should know how fat I am.
Yeah.
And I stepped, we were in Goodwill. I stepped on it in the aisle, and I was right.
Okay.
I'm exactly as fat as I thought I was, which is actually good news.
Right.
Because the fear is that I was much fatter than I thought I was, which is already the fattest I've ever been.
Right. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you guessed the amount of jelly beans in the jar correct, basically.
Oh, 100% correctly.
Well, it's good. It is your body. You are literally inside of it, so
I really should have more perspective on it than others, but let me tell you, that has not always been the case.
That's a very good point.
I tell you, Nick.
Yeah.
It has not always been the case.
Well, that's good. I think that's a good question that she asked you.
Mm-hmm.
Did you decided that you want the analog scale?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's in the car. I haven't brought it in yet.
Oh, okay.
But I haven't made any changes that would necessitate it.
Right, that's very true.
That was her next question, and she was like, well, are you going to make any other decisions that might influence the number on the scale, or are you just going to weigh yourself every week and be upset?
Right.
And I was like, oh, making decisions to influence the number on the scale. Well, this I had not considered.
You really only got as far as the scale.
I never get further than the scale, Nick.
Brendan, it's so true.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the truest things about you. But that's why we have Bay to push us along.
But we don't want Bay to know that that's her job.
Well, yes. Well, also it's not. I mean, ideally, a relationship is a give and take where you're both asking those
You're both
questions.
A source of support for the other one,
right.
But you're both supposed to be your own people who can look after yourself.
Right.
Ultimately. So
yes.
I worry a lot about Bay feeling like I'm a project she's working on.
Yeah.
Much like how I look at every other aspect of life as a project that I'm working on.
I think that's a good thing to be aware of, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a very healthy, self-reflective thought. And I think that probably one of the best things you can do is just, and I'm sure you are, be open in that dialogue with her. Be like, look, there's things I'm working on. I don't want you to think that your relationship with me is going to be all you supporting the work that I'm doing or feeling like you have to assist in some way.
Yes.
Yeah. But I'm a work in progress, baby.
Mm-hmm. Look, I'm a piece of shit.
Yeah, okay, sure.
I don't know what to tell you. I'm some fat loser in community college at 28.
Right. Oh yeah, right. No,
Yeah.
you literally are. Actually, I thought you were making an analogy. I was like, oh no.
No, that's what I am. Basically, like me going to community college at 28, it's like a guy who like is walking along the shore and he sees a fish and he's like, I need to go buy a rod.
Right.
It's like, well, you're already so far behind.
Yeah. You might as well just yeah.
And I don't know why the fish is cooperating.
How did he see the fish? I guess it's very clear water. This is in the past.
Yeah.
I assume.
Yeah.
The fish is
Bay
that
is the
close
fish.
to
That's the analogy.
I see.
Where it's like, I guess the fish wants to get caught, but it really doesn't seem like you should be doing this well.
Right. Yeah.
At least have a boat.
Right.
Like, why did you go fishing? You didn't have any of the other things.
Right. You didn't. Yeah. You know what? Because Bay is the fish in this analogy, I'm treading very lightly with where I take this analogy because there's certainly. I certainly have a lot of questions about the universe that this analogy exists in.
We don't need to look too deep into it.
No, we don't need to look too deep into it.
This is a bonus one, right?
Yeah, this is bonus.
Okay, good.
I had a nice time with. It's funny, man. We had an interesting wall. Me and Bay were like, it was just us together. Like it was just us, and we were in like a fairly like. We went from Chicago to a fairly like isolated town. Like so like we would go out and do stuff. We would like go on like day trips during the day. We went to this like. Honestly, place that was super. This place Frankenmuth in Michigan. It's a fake German village. They think that it's like Disneyland, but what it like there's this place called the Cheese House, and little animatronic boys and girls come out on the hour. There's a giant cuckoo clock, and they come out with an animatronic cow, and they tell you about the wonders of cheese. It sounds like I'm pretty sure that all of the children in this recording that you hear died like 20 years ago. It sounds like this was recorded a long time
That'd be
ago.
cool if they made the voices got older.
Yeah, they should come back every year. Yeah, we went to and you're like you get there, you're like, oh, this must be like it's kind of kitschy, but certainly there's something to see in here. Then you go in, it's a fucking 7-Eleven. It's not even a special place. We went to this place called Bronner's, which is like the largest Christmas store in America, year round, open 363 days a year or something. I guess it's closed 2 days for Christmas Eve and Christmas. And that's just an abomination of God. I mean, it was. Bay and I. I mean, we got lost in it. It's literally the size of a mall, and it's just Christmas ornaments. It was. I felt like I was in the end of The Shining when he's running through the hedge maze.
Yeah, none of these sound like Nick Aldershot. Good times.
I mean, look, I love to be aghast at society. So
that's true.
I on some level, I really enjoy just like seeing how far we've gotten from light.
I kind of do want to see you at Disney because I feel like you wouldn't leave the park alive unless it's in police custody.
Definitely not. No. Speaking of Mandalay Bay, I'll recreate that in the fucking Snow White suite or whatever. No, well, I couldn't. You know what's funny? I would hate Disney more. The thing that saved Frankenmuth for me is even though it had aspirations of being, and it's literally a town where people live. It's not a theme park. It's a town where people live, but it's all done up. There's weird like announcements that come on, but people live there. It's all a Bavarian village. Aspirationally, they want to be like Disneyland, but it's this shithole in the middle of Michigan, so they can't. They don't have the money to do it. So that like kept me at bay. I was like, well, these people are just pathetic, so that's okay.
Yeah.
They think they're German. They're wearing fucking lederhosen. They're losers.
The people have to wear the outfits.
Yes, Brent. The people in this town. It's a horrible lot to be born into because they have to cosplay 365 days a year.
They're in the village.
Essentially, yes. They're in the and some of the. Yeah,
they're willingly in the village.
Yes, we went to a fucking Goodwill that was not like, it was just near Frankenmuth. There were so many there was just German garb in this Goodwill. I'm like, oh, this is what these people fucking wear, dude. because they're always putting on this shitty, horrible show for literally like tourists who are from a farm 30 miles up the way, just in the middle of fucking nowhere, just like a farmhouse, and like this is a big city activity to them.
Come on, honey, let's go throw rocks at the freaks.
Yes, pretty much. It's a pocket of America that is mostly familiar with itself, and to them, this is a day of excitement. This is the most they'll probably ever see of the world. They don't need to go to Europe because they went down one stretch of Frankenmuth one day in late September, and they've seen it. They made their Bavarian pretzel. You know, I mean, these are people.
They're not sending their best.
They're not sending their best. They are not sending their best.
Can you imagine, like, if you were a girl and you met some guy in like Chicago or something, and he's like, "Oh, do you want to meet my parents?"
Yeah.
You're like, "Okay." You're like, "Well, just so you know, you're gonna need to wear this."
Yeah, because they've been living a lie based solely on the fact of where they were born, and they're too poor to get out of there. They literally think they're 20th century Bavarians. You
know what's worse is there's definitely people like even worse off who aspire to live in Frankenmuth.
That is exactly. Let me tell you something. That is exactly what I said to fucking Bae. We were walking around. Also, Bae is insane. So like we were walking. She's an interesting girl. She seems to. I don't know, but we were walking by all these farms where, like, you know, they're growing massive amounts of crops, and there's, you know, not a lot of people live there, so we're just like walking on the sidewalk by this huge farm off the way in Frankenmuth, and she goes, "Oh, it's a soybean farm," and she just grabs a handful of crop and begins eating it raw, and I was like, "You can't," dude. She's like, "What do you mean? I just did." I was like, "That's very hard to argue with," but that was a recurring theme. She kept just reaching into people's gardens and trees. I mean, I've never seen somebody take so much fruit off of private property and eat it cavalierly.
Well, I certainly have nothing to say about that.
I don't know what to say. I was like, "Babe, you just stole that woman's." She's like, "Oh, it's a pear tree," which is like, you know, if you have a pear tree, you probably have a pear tree if you're not letting those pears rot. And I was like, "Babe, you just stole that woman's pears." She goes, "No, don't say that." She's like,
not an argument of some kind. Just don't
she
say
said,
that.
"Yeah." She said, "Stop talking about it so much." So it was a very fun vacation. I just watched her eat. I just watched her eat soybeans off of a stalk. They had definitely just been sprayed with pesticides. This was off a huge plot of farmland that she waded into like a fucking alien in Signs.
What do soybeans even look like?
They're in a little pod. Mm-hmm. They're very crunchy.
Did you have some?
No, but she bit into it and it was like it was really crunchy. Then we went to Jellystone Park, which was another, you know, they got the rights to use Yogi Bear's likeness, and they might as well just dance on Hanna-Barbera's grave, because this was I'm not kidding. This was such a piece of shit. It had no right bearing any sort of resemblance to Yogi Bear. They had a mini golf course I was hoping to play. I love mini golf. Fun with Bae. Not even any obstacles. It was literally 18 holes of flat land, holes over there, go on to the next one, go on to the next one, go on to the next one. Shit show. $30 to get in? Fuck off. I hate Michigan. I'm glad that it's doing badly.
What is flying like right now with COVID? 'Cause I have to do it in December.
There's special filtration systems in all the planes, so it filters the air every 2 minutes, even on Spirit. I flew there on Spirit, flew American back.
In Spirit, they take away your mask.
Yeah.
They say there's actually a mask fee.
Yeah. Well, the mask just counts as your carry-on item. Yeah. But, so flying's fine.
Do you see a lot of kids with masks? Every time I have to see a kid with a mask, I'm like, oh, we have really gotten ourselves into it.
What do you mean?
Like, anytime I see a kid wearing like an Elsa mask or something, I'm
oh,
like,
yes.
Dear God we live in a horror show.
Yeah, dude. No, it's there's a lot of really weird things are happening.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've been keeping up with the news, but stranger and
I
stranger.
actually have been a little bit more.
It's good to keep up with the news. What did I read?
It's
I read
weird. I mean, like, quitting caffeine lowered my anxiety even further from where it was, where I can, like, read the news without spiraling now.
right.
But without the spiraling, it's just like a calm, measured sense of dread.
That's where I'm at.
Where it's like, oh, I think I am in my exact right mind right now, and the world is on the brink of ending.
Well, so many people, especially people in this town, are just so like the fact that people. You know how many people watched the Emmys last night? Do you have any idea? What would you guess? How many people watched the Emmys?
At least 3 or 4.
yeah. Well, the Emmys by the end of the night they had 4.8 million viewers, which is abysmal. Abysmal. And of course, why would anybody give a shit about the Emmys? Who gives a it's stupid. It shouldn't exist. But it's just even the fact that like the conversation, especially specifically from people in this town, still seems to be about everything but what's actually happening. We're talking about how important Anthony Anderson's skit with Jimmy Kimmel was on the Emmys last night, when it's like, hey man, we're about to lose the Supreme Court forever, like for the foreseeable future. Trump's going to be president again. Like,
yeah, he's like openly talking about eugenics now.
My man has never been riding higher. I mean, he's truly hitting his stride.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure he was joking, but he said that he might sign an executive order barring Joe Biden from being president. Which is very funny. Like, not even an executive order that can be applied to, like, a broad set of circumstances. Just Joe Biden specifically, he thinks.
Him signing that is like, it's like Heisenberg dying right before he gets arrested. He's like, you can't get me.
Well, he says that he said, and he was like, here's what they're doing. They're giving Joe Biden a shot in his ass, and for 2 hours, that's why he wants to get him drug tested, because they're giving him this. He insists that it is a shot in his ass. He goes, they give Joe a shot in his ass, and for 2 hours, he's better than ever before. But what happens when the 2 hours are over? And I'm like, these are good questions. Actually,
so Donald Trump is getting a shot in his ass.
No, yeah. I know what they're doing. Let me tell you. I can. I know. I just know.
Let me tell you, they give you a shot in your ass. It hurts at first, but you really start to get used to it as part of your morning routine. And
you get one shot in the ass, and you're beautiful. You're more beautiful than you've ever been. You're better than ever before. The problem is 2 hours wears off, and now we're not doing so good. It's very sad.
Hands start shaking. You need to drink a lot of water.
I have to drink a lot of water. And you say, "Where's the shot?" I'm sure he loves the shot. Yeah, you're right. That's a very good point. Donald Trump is getting a shot in his ass. So he's like, "Let me tell you."
100%.
Yeah. Maybe. How do you know that Joe Biden is getting a shot in his ass? Maybe one day I'll tell you. Maybe. Oh my God.
I mean, like, in order to get him to confess to things, you just have to ask, like, what do you think the Democrats are doing right now?
Right. That's true. Oh my God, dude. Yeah, it's
Let me tell you, Joe Biden, his pants are full of shit. His pants are full of shit at this press conference, and everybody knows it.
It's just what you do. It's what you do. You make a deal, you shit your pants. That's what it's common.
But
That's
Mr.
what everybody
President,
does this.
Joe Biden isn't at this press conference. Everybody's saying he's here. And
Everybody's
his
saying
pants
he's here.
are full of just the worst diarrhea anyone's.
Just Donald Trump audibly shitting his pants. Like, look, this is what people do. Okay, this is how we make a deal. Yeah,
I was thinking about it. I bet Donald Trump believes he never raped. Because, like, he thinks he's so persuasive. He's like, well, Donald, another one you won over in the end.
yeah. Oh, you mean post-rape?
Yeah.
He was like, I mean, look, here's the only thing I'll say on that is I don't think he raped E. Jean Carroll. That's the one thing I can say confidently where I'm like, I gotta back away from this one. I don't know where the axe falls at all.
I'm gonna say I don't actually know who that is. I haven't seen any of
it's the woman.
But I feel like in all of these, like any of these big like multiple accuser things, it's always it's like a Harvey thing where it's like 40 women, absolutely 100% believable, and then there's like one Rose McGowan where you're like, well, what's going on now?
Right.
Something's.
Actually, Rose McGowan might be the one who's on it. Actually, Rose McGowan's kind of tight.
Yeah, roll back the tape.
Alyssa Milano. I think you mean they were both on Charmed.
Okay. Yeah, there's one who's always like, yeah, I think the other 39 are right.
Well, that was like when Cooney was doing this bit about leaving Neverland, the Michael Jackson documentary. I was in the audience, and he goes, Nick, what about you? Think those boys telling the truth? And I said, one of them is, and he goes, that is the craziest take I've ever heard. He was like, I can't believe you just said that at this show.
Look, all I'm saying is that I'm willing to round up.
Yeah.
This isn't the hill I'm dying on.
Right, totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, this is a bonus episode, right?
Yeah.
Dude, Isaac's girlfriend dropped I shouldn't even say that. Anyway, doesn't matter. Somebody that I know. This is a paywall episode.
Mm-hmm.
All right? I might be. It's late at night. We're having a late night cast.
Well, you said that because I have a photo of Isaac there. What you meant to say was our other friend, Jeff.
Jeff's girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
She works for a certain animation studio that is responsible for, it's not Pixar. That's what I'll say.
Yeah.
They're responsible for a certain ogre movie. And Steven Spielberg gave a speech there. It was great because this person's girlfriend is like very woke, but like the minute I was leaning into like the Steven Spielberg as a pedophile stuff, she's like, oh yeah. And I was like, she was like, yeah, he gave a speech at our company where he urged everybody not to go to therapy and that going to therapy will ruin your brain because it's the people who kill the little voice in their head kill their creativity, were his words, apparently. And it's just like, again, that doesn't. Now, I'm not going to say. I'm not going to say that places him in the room with Heather O'Rourke when she experienced deep anal trauma, but it's certainly something else that I'm going to stack against him as being a fucking weirdo.
Yeah, I could for sure see that
leading to something.
We need like we need a big corkboard in here.
Why, Brendan? I've been looking at corkboards.
Oh, dude, that'd be so sick if we have like a studio someday. The backdrop should just be a big corkboard of Hollywood pedophiles.
Yes, dude. Oh, that's yes. Especially because I've decided I do not want a studio job in this town ever. I think that it's a horrible thing to want.
I also think that about
fuck.
many things I can never have, no matter what.
Yeah, true. Well, I'm not going to say never, but I don't know. At any level, I'm just like, it's a town. It's a town built on rape and lies, and the only reason that the only reason that it seemingly stopped is because people started noticing, and now they're acting like they're not doing that. But that's what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, it's.
Well, yeah, I mean, they did that, but then people were like, Hollywood sure does seem to have a lot of sex abuse. And then they're like, yes, on adult women. It's like, well, I didn't. It seems like it's more than one time. Yes, the women.
The 40-year-old
yes, all
women.
Yeah.
We have such a problem with raped 40-year-old women in this town.
Yes. So old, and no one should at all be looking at this assembly line of boys coming in and out of DreamWorks.
Yeah, it's not weird at all that Dan Schneider deleted something like 50,000 tweets. Something like that.
Oh, yeah, Dan Schneider, the the children's entertainment producer who would routinely request feet pics from children.
Publicly on. Yeah. There was literally one where he was like, please send me a picture of your feet covered in ketchup and mustard. He was like, it's like, this is literally an ex-hamster category. Well, it's dude, but Nickelodeon.
Now film it POV like you're stomping on me and I'm really small.
Yeah. If you could somehow if you have a sophisticated enough setup, this is for all you rich kids out there. Get that camera under glass and step on it like it's my face.
Mm-hmm.
But
you can pretend it like you're on iCarly.
Yeah, if your feet are good enough, I will put you on. You will. Well, I'm not going to say I'll put you on iCarly, but you will definitely get to come out to my offices. So. But
you will get to be an extra in a scene of iCarly where there are not any principal characters. It's you and Look, 7 or 8 little girls with your same hair color and eye color.
The one thing that I can promise you is that there will be a camera, okay?
That much I can assure you.
That's the slogan here at Schneider's Bakery, which was his production company. There will be a camera. But Disney's been or Nickelodeon's.
That's funny. That sounds like he already had like an LLC set up for like a different pedophile front, and then he's like, "Oh, we're making movies."
Yes, you're right. Schneider's Bakery. What did they originally do? Well, I mean, I'm sure that it was Schneider's Pizzeria before he.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh fuck, we're not doing food anymore? I thought that was the whole... I memorized all these terms.
What do you sell here at Schneider's Bakery? And he like looks over his shoulder and he's like, croissants and pies, if you're into that? You go back in the pantry, there's just one bag of flour.
Right.
You're like, yeah, it's a bakery. See? Right there.
Nickelodeon's been in bed with pedophiles for a long time. I was thinking about it like in the 90s, it was John Kay, a noted... I mean, that man's brazen with his shit.
Oh, yeah.
And then I've heard that like Butch Hartman is... I don't know if he's a pedophile, but I've heard that he's kind of fucking weird.
Is that the Fairly Oddparents guy?
Yeah. Again, shocker, right?
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
I don't know, man. It's
anyway. Yeah, it's weird to make a bunch of shows about how if you're a kid, it's okay to have a secret your parents can never know about.
Can never know. It's a whole secret life.
Yeah,
an entire secret life. Compartments in your room that open up when everybody leaves. That's what I remember from Drake.
Yeah, what was really happening to Dexter down in that lab?
Yeah, you're right. Well, no, that's Miranda Cosgrove on fucking Drake and Josh. That was her room, had all these secrets in it when everybody would leave.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what?
You can see one episode like a closet opens and there's just Dan Schneider in there.
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh, Dad, don't look in there."
Yeah. Yeah, fuck, man. I don't know. It's everybody in this town is too. Even if you're not a pedophile, you have to do dealings with people who are known abusers.
It's like the bad apples thing with cops.
It is 100% like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude, the whole institution's rotten.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm like
Steven Spielberg is down there fucking a boy, and then you got the other 3 cops standing around the car.
Yeah, that's exactly. So
Steven, he just said he can't come. He's just still squashing his dick. He can come.
Steven Spielberg.
And then they get tried, and they're like, "Look, I was in training. How was I supposed to?"
Yeah, that's just what they taught me at film school. That's actually procedure. Well, it's like, but then this goes back to me just being like, so this town is rotten. The people in it are bad. Interest in it is rapidly waning. Like, if you look at the rating, I mean, the Emmys this year was shocking. And granted, it was COVID Emmys, but the fact that in 2018 they had something like 10 million viewers, which is terrible, and then this year they had 5 million viewers, and I don't know if you watched any of the clips of it, but it was an absolutely shameful display. It was an absolutely disgusting display. They got Anthony Anderson up there, a guy who I think sexually assaulted somebody. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that's true. Up there with Jimmy Kimmel, where they're doing this weird bit where Anthony is yelling at him for how white the Emmys are, but the bit is also still, if you're not nice to this angry black man, he'll beat your ass. because there was some bit with an alpaca, and Anthony's like, "Damn it, Jimmy, you know it should have been a damn pit bull." And it's just like, all right, dude. Somehow in this bit that's supposed to be woke, you're literally shucking and jiving. This is so fucking racist. Like,
sounds a lot like a lot of the comedy that we have seen in this town.
yeah, well, it's people obsessed. It's people in this town out of touch with the perception of this town, obsessed with the myth of this town, and are too blinded by their own self-congratulation to realize how fucking embarrassing this all is. And I think just how much people don't want it.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like,
I feel like, though, like, this has been going on for like 7 years or whatever, and for most of it, people didn't want it, but I feel like they fucking shoved it down America's throats enough that now regular people are like, "Oh, have you seen this show on Hulu where the girl's fat?"
but they're literally not. Also, I would say that what I'm talking, I mean, the woke thing, yes, but in terms of Hollywood being in love with itself and perpetuating its, I think that's been going on for like 80 years. Like, it's, you know.
Oh, I was talking about the woke thing, where it's like,
yeah.
It used to be, it's like, who's this show for? And it's like, well, I guess we've convinced people to care about this.
I don't think that they have, though. And here's the thing, I don't even have a problem.
Well, I guess you're right, because then just Comedy Central is like, oh, we're actually ratings are transphobic, I guess. So we're gonna be going off likes now. Which
that might be more accurate because the rating. I mean, whatever. I don't even want to like talk about the merits or whatever the opposite of merits is for the respective systems. But I just feel like I think the biggest problem I have with this woke shit is that Hollywood is too tied, like specifically tied. I mean, like the American entertainment industry is like weirdly tied to the CIA. That's some shit that I was talking about that with Julian, and without like getting too into the.
Well, I would love to learn more about that.
Oh, you should. He's better at explaining it than I am. But basically, a lot of like the push. A lot of it was like abstract art, especially, was like funded by the CIA. But like the entertainment industry seems to work in tandem with the government, just in terms of like pacifying people's thirst for any actual change, especially because, like, you know, people like Jeffrey Katzenberg and all these people, they're in bed with fucking neoliberal politicians, right? So like that's where their interests lie. That's where the interests of a lot of these studios lie, and that's what I feel like a lot of, like, when you watch this shit, like the Emmys last night, it's just to assuage people who are watching it and make them feel like they're on the right team and like Hollywood is actually doing something about injustices, when in reality, this shit is meaningless. Putting on a fucking skit with Jimmy Kimmel and Anthony Anderson, both men with sordid pasts, where they act like suddenly they're on the right side of history, to make it appear as though they're putting themselves on the front line of this fight for social justice, is sickening. It makes me so physically sick. Does that make sense? Am I making sense?
I would have loved to see that bit in front of an audience, because
right.
How would that have played?
Probably exactly the same. Probably just dead silence.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
fucking Meryl Streep is just confused.
because it literally sucks, because like it doesn't take a smart person to see that what Anthony Anderson is doing is actually an offensive stereotype. And like, anyway.
No, yeah, I mean, that's a bit from, like, isn't there a bit in, like, Chasing Amy where, like, the whole bit is that, like, if the black guy thinks he's racist, then you have to be afraid of him?
Yes, yeah, that's literally
like the Black Panther thing?
Yes.
Yeah. It's like it's a very racist bit.
Yeah, it's, so I don't know, and I don't know, like, who's making these, and I think, like, the reason why, like, these award shows could get with it, but it's because they're still, like, from the top down, like the old guard still has control. Things like the fucking Academy, people, you know, the Academy, all that shit, where like they are so beholden to like the traditional sense of ceremony that goes with Hollywood and the legacy of Hollywood that they perceive. And it's like, you guys are fucking vampires. like this shit is meaningless, and people are not falling for it anymore.
They're gonna give Black Panther Best Picture this year.
Again. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. But to that point, honestly, props to Chadwick Boseman for having stage 4 cancer and not telling Disney.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that? I don't know
Oh,
if we're
really?
No, they didn't know. So he's completely fucked up their plans for future Black Panther sequels. It seemed like it was his goal to get in, be in as many like significant black roles as possible while hiding his disease from studios, and then fucking get out on his own terms.
Mm-hmm.
Which is fucking cool.
Yeah, I mean, at first when I heard that, I was like, man, I'd feel weird if like I was Chadwick Boseman's son and my dad wasn't at the game because he was making 21 Bridges.
Right.
But then I'm like, man, that guy really secured the bag for his family before he went.
Dude, movie after movie after movie, because he pretty much, I think he knew that he had it before Civil War. And think about it, like, he was in a fuckload of movies even since then, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Damn. That is pretty funny to just fuck up Disney's whole thing.
It's so
Especially when they didn't even have him in the last couple.
Yeah.
They're like, we got something big planned.
Yeah. Literally, they're doing, like, rewrites now. Like, they're going, like, back to square one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Spider-Man Homecoming was basically season finale.
It is.
Series finale. Yeah.
Do you think that people like Black Widow's, like, I know that WandaVision's coming out, Black Widow's coming I've never been into these movies, but, like, does it feel like interest is going to pick back up when we go back to the movies, or no? I can't tell.
I don't know. I mean, I want to see Black Widow. I don't give a fuck about the TV shows or anything, because it's going to be the same as Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or whatever, where it's like they're only allowed to do Easter eggs and nothing of consequence is allowed to happen.
Right.
Even though they've said, like, no, you're actually going to need to watch them. Like, they're not going to do that.
No, you don't have to watch them. There's no way.
Then, like, I was walking in and out of the room while Ryan was watching the Blade movies recently, and I was just like, man, this rules. What the fuck is PG-13 Blade going to be like?
Yeah, dude, Blade, well, yeah, dude. Blade 2 is so sick. The one that Guillermo del Toro directed, so fucking cool. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea what the future for this Marvel Disney thing is going to be. Nor do I care. I just kind of hope that I just kind of hope that, like, the quality declines to the point where, like, it's not the only thing in theaters anymore.
Yeah.
That's my biggest hope.
We got pretty stoked, though, because we looked up, like, what Blade's origin is in the comics, and it fucking rules.
What is
like
it?
His mom gets, like, his mom is a prostitute who gets hired by a vampire.
Hell yeah.
And then he just eats her instead of fucking her.
Hell yes.
Or I don't know what happens. I think she was pregnant. No, I think it was just like she's a prostitute and she's pregnant and a vampire rapes her. And then they, like, scare off that vampire, and then she has the baby and it's half vampire. And then Blade, when he's a boy, he meets this old man in the street who's a vampire and jazz trumpetist who just moves into the whorehouse with him to teach him how to be a vampire and play jazz.
Oh my god, dude. They will never do this origin story. That's so awesome. Yeah. Dude, I love that.
Like, I want extended. I want the movie to be like half Whiplash.
Right, yeah.
I want it to be half his journey of becoming, like, an expert trumpeter.
Well, we talk about, like, the cocaine behind the movie productions of the 80s. There definitely had to be some cocaine in the comic book industry as well.
Oh,
like,
for sure.
Like, specifically around that time.
There was a villain whose whole thing was that they do cocaine and they get powers.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Who was it?
Fuck, what was his name was, like Snowstorm or something.
Jesus Christ.
Something ridiculous.
This is a DC comic?
I think it was Marvel, but he has to, like, keep doing cocaine to be powerful.
That's so awesome.
So that was, like, definitely writing what you know.
Yeah. That sounds fun. I would read the shit out of that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of what I watched. I can't remember. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I can't remember. I watched some fucking comic book thing. It's already left my head. Sorry.
That's okay. But yeah, those movies are fucked. I mean, like, what are they even those things were on such a schedule too. It's like Black Widow was supposed to come out. Are they supposed to be shooting the next one? Like all those contracts have got to be pretty exact with like the timing.
Yeah, and with somebody like Chadwick being gone, I'm sure that's going to affect other movies too. I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's easy to swap in another character, but
yeah, I mean, I'm sure like when that movie did so fucking well, they were like, all right, he's the new Iron Man.
Oh, 100%. They were setting up Black Panther to be like the. I think that it was like Spider-Man and Black Panther were going to be the two next big ones. And so, yeah, now they're going to have to like figure out another, like who do they have from the current crop? Because unless they introduce a character that's really.
Guess what, everybody? Falcon is the new hero.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. As long as it's not Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Good God.
That movie was terrible. That one was really bad. Did you see that one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Maybe you liked that one. I don't know.
No, that one is bad.
I felt
it was the same as the first movie when like it's like show us the fucking microverse. What like that sounds cool.
Well, that's the thing.
Why are you doing Ocean's 11 again?
I feel like the thing about the movies is like they never explore the coolest aspects of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like Ant-Man should be at the end of the first Ant-Man. Before I'd seen a lot of Marvel movies, when he goes really small and there's a bunch of fractals and he's like, "Oh no!" I'm like, "Oh, I've been there." It's like I relate. But
yeah, there's like cities and shit down there in the comics, and like whole like characters who just exist there, and
really,
yeah,
huh? I would see that.
Sounds way cooler.
I don't know. I watched it. Well, Bay and I went on the. We were on the Criterion Collection in the cabin while we were away. Have you ever seen the movie? We were watching a lot of like international movies, but have you ever seen the movie Defending Your Life? Have you seen that movie, Brendan?
No, I haven't.
Brendan, you got to watch it. I think you'll love this fucking movie.
I know this isn't what happened, but it's funny to imagine it this way, of like just the perfect Nick Oldershaw romance, which is you have a woman trapped in the woods and you get to mansplain black and white cinema to her.
Yeah. Yeah, it was great. It was awesome. There was a lot. Believe me, dude. We got some white wine. There was a lot of mansplaining with permission.
Mm-hmm.
I got so much permission to mansplain. She was curious.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally just like waves from Lake Huron crashing in the background. We're like, yeah, actually, Waylon Jennings. Like,
yeah, mansplaining is like Bay's biggest pet peeve because I mean she works in animation. It's all dudes and
right.
I don't know. So like I'm so touchy about it that I now just like I talk about things that I know she has no idea what I'm talking about, but I have to wait for her to be like, "No, what are you talking about?" So I'm like, "Well, you know how the song Box of Rain is about Phil Lesh's dad dying?"
Right.
And then she's like, "No." I'm like, "Oh, you don't?"
Oh man.
Well, you're so smart. I thought
that sounds worse than mansplaining.
That wasn't the right example.
No, I know.
But it's
I'm
like,
kidding.
It's like I can never be like, "Oh man, have you ever seen this movie?" And here's the thing: this is all self-imposed. She wouldn't react badly to any of this.
Sure.
It's just I'm a lunatic.
I think
so. I'm like, oh yeah. It's like, I'll just talk about something really obscure.
I think what I like about me and what was nice was we kind of both. She knows a lot of shit that I don't know about, and I'll ask, and so it was really kind of great. We were just both like kind of like info dumping on each other.
Mm-hmm.
But I like you, I'll start to explain something. And I'll be like, anyway, I'm gonna stop talking about that now. And she's like, no, please keep talking about it. And then like just pretty much every 2 minutes, I'll be like, all right, should I stop talking about it now? She's like, no, go on. I'm like, would you like me to stop talking about it now? And then I go, how would you feel if I talked about this for the next 10 minutes? She's like, that would be okay. So just a little folks, check-ins. Do little check-ins.
Mm-hmm. It's like, yeah, you talking about movies to a woman, you're basically navigating it like a blackout drunk sexual encounter. You're like, yes. Is this okay?
Yeah, you're right.
Let me know if you want to stop.
Is this still consensual? Yeah.
Yeah, Bae teaches me a lot about things too, and So far, it has mostly just wound up me watching a lot of children's cartoons and earnestly loving them.
I know, yeah, you were telling me it's so there were a couple different moments where one was when you were telling me about the we had just finished calling somebody gay in the group chat, and then you're like, but anyways, have you guys played the daddy dating sim? And I was like, the what? You're like, it's great. You're a dad. You date other cute dads.
And with
Switch.
the character creator, it's very easy to make one who looks exactly like
Right,
me.
and you were loving that. You were loving that. And then I think
I was even wearing the same shirt as the guy. I think that's when she fell in love with me.
Yeah.
Watching me romance those dads.
Right, but people at the Lyric Hyperion suck. I'm kidding. And the other was when you started talking to me about Gravity Falls. I was like, I'm losing Brendan.
No, you would like Gravity Falls. It's about the Illuminati.
I've seen some of Gravity Falls. I as a diehard Cartoon Network kid, I could never bring myself to watch a Nickelodeon cartoon.
Mm-hmm. I think it was a Disney Plus cartoon.
That's what I meant. Disney Plus.
Yeah,
Disney.
yeah.
Even worse. Even worse.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, and every one of these shows I was like resistant to at the beginning, but at this point she's learned how to like pitch them to me in the right way. Like she was like, "Do you want to watch this show on Netflix? It's called Hilda." And I was like, "What's it about?" And she's like, "Well, it's this little girl who she lives in like an enchanted woods and she goes on adventures." And I'm like, "I don't think I'd like that." And she's like, "Grimes is the theme song and a lot of the music and stuff." I'm like, "All right, put it on."
Yeah, that is kind of like the reverse way that she did a boyfriend thing. It's like you zero in on the one thing that they have an interest in and sell them on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Good God.
Yeah. Well, and you should watch the movie Defending Your Life. I think that you would relate to it very much. It's you in the movie. It's an Albert Brooks movie. You die, and the problem is people on Earth who die. Their biggest problem is they're all cowards and they're not good at facing their fears. And so if you never learn to face your fear, you get sent back to Earth and reincarnated. If you stop being a coward, you move on to the next level of consciousness. And so they prosecute you based on 9 random days that they've selected. It's very, really, really a very good movie.
This sounds really good.
Yeah, I think you would. I was watching it with her, and I was like, "Oh, Brendan would like this a lot." It's really funny.
It sounds like something that would happen to me.
That's what I was thinking when I was watching it.
They they play it, and I'm like, "Oh, why did you pick the 9 times that I shit myself?"
Yeah.
And then they look at me, and they're like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, all right, that wasn't even most of them.
Dude, you've seen the movie.
Yeah.
It's because it's the bureaucracy of the afterlife. The pickles that he finds himself in are very you.
Oh, speaking of fear,
Mm-hmm.
there is a Jimmy Buffett song you must hear.
Oh my God, I don't think that's true.
I think it is.
Well, I have this question for you about Jimmy Buffett. Because when we go up to this place in Michigan, they do a festival called Cheeseburger in Caseville, because they're Key North. They're like the northernmost fucking. So they pretend instead of Key West, they're Key North, and they play Jimmy Buffett songs. And I'm hearing more Jimmy Buffett than I've ever heard in my life. And I'm like, are there no deep cuts? Like, is it literally all just having snacks on the beach?
This is a deep cut, Nick.
Okay, this is what I wanted to know about.
Okay.
Okay.
Here, I'm going to look up the lyrics. Because, first of all, this is the only song I've ever heard that prominently features vampires and mummies that is not a Halloween song.
Okay, because this is great. Because there are people who follow Jimmy Buffett like he's the Grateful Dead. And if it was 3 hours of cheeseburgers and margaritas, they would start to... they couldn't be that devoted to him, right? It doesn't make sense. You bleed
that
from
is...
your eyes.
There is absolutely nothing below the surface as far as like getting into Jimmy Buffett.
You just like cheeseburgers on the beach?
Yeah, it's just like, oh, this is fun. I'm drunk. So there's
people follow him.
nothing that they're seeing in it that you're not. Anyway, Jimmy Buffett wrote this song called "Vampires, Mummies, and the Holy Ghost," and this was this album. I forget what the album was called. We found it in a thrift store. It's like clearly like a mid-'90s Jimmy Buffett album.
Oh, he was trying to...
And it was just like a clearly phoning it in. There's a lot of covers on it.
Oh, really?
He does a cover of Uncle John's Band where he he fills back in all the skipped beats, and it made me almost crash the car. I was so
my
furious.
God, dude. This was a contractual obligation, I bet.
Yeah, I'm sure. But then he writes these just baffling songs. So this one is called Vampires, Mummies, and the Holy Ghost.
Let's hear it.
So, Jimmy Buffett, his whole thing is like, I'm on the beach, we're partying, we're drinking wine, margaritas.
Right.
So it starts with, looked in my laptop, and what did I see?
Already, I don't want to hear Jimmy Buffett talk about his laptop.
Yeah. A flashing message said, today therapy. So he has to go to therapy because he opened his laptop and it flashed therapy today.
He wrote this album in the early 90s?
I'm guessing.
He's lying. The computer's too sophisticated.
So anyway, I'll just kind of switch ahead to the chorus here. Because vampires, mummies, and the Holy Ghost, those are the things that terrify me. Hold on, I forget that. But anyway,
right.
Vampires, mummies, and the Holy Ghost, these are the things that terrify me the most.
Jimmy. So I didn't realize that Jimmy Buffett is like a heathen.
Yeah. He's terrified of mummies, vampires, and the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, that's so funny. I love whenever a novelty musician is a staunch atheist.
Mm-hmm. I think he's a Buddhist, because he gets into that in one of the other songs.
Oh, really?
He does this song that it's like, it feels like a bad punk song where he's like naming off societal issues and then going off on his take.
Right.
And at one point he's like, oh man, the preachers think they have all the answers, but we know it's not that simple. And you can just imagine 60-year-old parrot heads being like, what?
Yeah. Jimmy, why would you say this? Just ruining the vibe.
Yeah.
He decides to play that towards the end of the set. People start rioting.
Yeah.
Well, that's like...
This is absolutely, to make another reference that I would force on Bay, this is absolutely like when Grateful Dead just became a country band and people are on acid just mad.
Just bummed out.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's so funny to me. It's like when you find out that Randy...
Dylan goes electric.
Yeah.
A bunch of alcoholics in Hawaiian shirts are flipping their tables.
Well, it's like when you find... You know that like Randy Newman is like a staunch atheist and like talks about it between songs? Like when he's like, there is no God? Like, goes right into short people.
Oh, man. Do you know how many fucking times I got brought up on stage with Short People?
Oh, my God, dude. Short People's a good song.
It is a good song.
It's great. You said that so begrudgingly. You're like, yes, I know.
It's a good song. No, I mean, like, what's the bit of the song? Is it, it's funny because it's not a real prejudice?
But
it is a real prejudice. So where's the bit, Randy?
Well, I think he was trying to, illustrate the absurdity of prejudice without going after a marginalized group, like a literally marginalized group like dwarves or midgets. So, I don't know. I think you're right. But there is a blind spot. But he doesn't mean anything that he's saying either.
I know.
It's to illustrate the absurdity of prejudice, but you're upset.
But it just, it comes from a place of height privilege that he doesn't even consider that this prejudice...
Is he even that tall?
I have no idea, dude.
I think he might be kind of... I don't know. I have to look it up. He's funny as shit,
Let's look
dude.
No, he's great. Let me look up...
Have you ever seen... There's this one where he's doing a concert, and he looks like he's begrudgingly playing You Got a Friend in Me, like he doesn't want to. He goes, yeah, so anyway, I wrote this song for Pixar. I wrote him all these wonderful songs. I gave him these songs. I put my heart and soul into these songs, and they put them in a movie, and then I went to go see the movie, and there's a bunch of cartoons talking over all my songs. And then he just goes into it.
Nick, 5'11".
Ah, so okay.
Mm-hmm. So I will require a written apology from Randy Newman or his estate if he's dead.
No, he's alive.
Oh. Well, in that case, he can write it.
I love Randy Newman. I think I'm gonna. Brendan, unfortunately, I hate to have to say this to you, but if it came down to you or Randy Newman, like if I was in a room and I had to choose between you or Randy Newman, like Air Bud, man, I'm going to Randy Newman. I love you. You're a great podcast partner, but it's Randy Newman, dude.
It's Randy Newman.
It's Randy Newman.
folks.
He wrote Rednecks. He's so fun. Do you know how I will like? I can't even say it. He's another guy where he could get away with saying the N-word in a song, and like I think people were just fine with it.
When?
Because he's in Rednecks. Because again, it's anti-prejudice, but he's like, we're rednecks. We don't know a ass from a hole in the ground. We're rednecks. And we're keeping the boop down. And you want to sing along. The way that he sings that word that I can't sing, he puts a little flair on it. It sounds really good.
That does sound nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's an hour 10.
Yeah, let's get it. That's a great one to end on.
Knock, knock, open up, it's me, the crazy, shady, faded fucker, so rock the G. See you lady, make a baby, lead her on in peace. Only time I give a fuck is for my own release. That's why I own these streets. Straight up, portfolio, showing growth, fuck a pay cut. Yeah, you know I stay slut. Catch me in the spot, looping up for the self-suck. Oh fuck, I busted already, I'm coming bucket so heavy. My dream of cream coming steady, now my mouth open, I'm ready. I'm talking solo, heavy petting on a Friday night. That's talking bashing the bishop, more like Nantucket's delight. I'm taking all the time I need to do it just right. Got my candles in the fishnets cause it's on tonight. Oh, that's right, it's time to fillet. No need to debate me, I suck until I go ooh-wee and spray my white pee-pee. I got that ski.